Alright, here it is, the OnePlus Nord 6. It's launching in India on April 7 and it's already grabbing attention for two big reasons. A massive 9000 mAh battery and the Snapdragon 8s Gen 4 chip. There's a lot of other interesting features to talk about as well, but before we get into all of that, let's quickly unbox it. And if you're new here, make sure you're subscribed because we've got more first looks like this coming your way. Now, let's start with the unboxing. You get the usual blue and black box, open it up and you're greeted with the paperwork right on top. Inside, you'll find the grey silicone case, the 80-watt charger, that signature red USB-A to USB-C cable, the SIM ejected tool, and of course the phone itself. There's also a screen protector pre-applied, which is always nice. Now, design is where things start to get interesting. This is the quick silver variant and at first glance, it does look quite premium. There's this ribbon-like pattern running across the back that sort of wraps around the camera module. It adds a bit of character, gives it a slightly futuristic vibe without trying too hard. Now, the back and the frame are both polycarbonate here, and just for reference, the Nord 4 came with a metal unibody design, and Nord 5 offered a glass back. That's it, the camera deco itself is aluminium, which does add a bit of contrast and makes the model feel more solid. If this design feels a bit too flashy, you do have other options, a mint green and a more understated black. OnePlus has gone with a squarish camera island this time, similar to what we have seen on the OnePlus 15. You get two large camera rings along with a flash and an IR blaster. Buttons and ports are pretty straightforward. Power button and volume rockers on the right and the plus key on the left. At the bottom, you've got the dual SIM tray, mic, USB-C port and a speaker grill. Up top, there are a couple of extra mics. The rounded corners and slightly softened edges make it comfortable to hold and the weight distribution feels well balanced too. However, as you can probably see, the back panel does pick up fingerprints very easily. Anyway, that's the overall design and now let's quickly talk about the pricing. OnePlus has already confirmed that the Nord 6 will pack the largest battery in the 35 to 40,000 rupees segment. Which basically tells you one thing, this phone is going to be priced under 40,000 rupees. For context, the Nord 5 launched last year at 31,999 rupees and since then, smartphone prices have generally gone up due to rising component and manufacturing costs. So a slight price bump here was expected. Now, the exact pricing will be revealed on April 7 at 7 PM. And like always, you can expect some bank offers or launch discounts to bring the effective price down a bit and make it feel closer to that previous Nord pricing. Now, let's skip to the main headline, which of course is the battery. At 9000 mAh, this thing is just insane for the segment. And even compared to the new big battery normal of around 7000 mAh, this is in a different league. Now yes, brands are clearly in a battery arms race right now. Poco jumped early with the X8 Pro Max, which also has a 9000 mAh battery, and Realme has gone even crazier with the P4 Power, pushing a 10,000 mAh unit. But still, 9000 mAh battery for a phone under 40,000 rupees is definitely a first for the segment. If this actually holds up in real world usage, you're easily looking at a 2.5 day phone with moderate usage. Now, this is a 9000 mAh silicon carbon battery and OnePlus says it uses around 15% silicon content. What that basically means is you get a much larger battery without a phone getting ridiculously heavy or thick. So it still manages to stay relatively slim for what it's packing. And despite the huge battery size, charging isn't painfully slow either. You get 80-watt fast charging and OnePlus claims it can go from 0 to 100 in about 70 minutes, which for a 9000 mAh battery is actually pretty impressive. Plus, this bypass charging, which is a big deal if you game a lot or even record a lot of 4K videos. And the phone also supports 27-watt wired reverse charging, so you can actually use it to top up other devices, earbuds, another phone, or whatever you've got lying around. Coming to the display, and here's the thing. Because of strict embargo rules, I can't really show you the front of the phone just yet. Annoying, I know. But OnePlus has already confirmed that this is a 165Hz AMOLED panel with a 1.5K resolution. The same kind of setup you get on the flagship OnePlus 15. So on paper, this already puts it ahead of the usual 120Hz displays you see in the price segment. As for the cameras, on the back, you get a 50 megapixel main sensor. The rear camera can also shoot 4K at 60 FPS. On the front, there's a 32 megapixel selfie camera. Now, we can't deep dive into cameras just yet because, again, embargoes. So stay tuned for the full review. Finally, let's talk performance. The Nord 6 comes with a 4nm Snapdragon 8s Gen 4 with clock speeds going up to 3.2 GHz. The previous Nord 5 was running on the Snapdragon 8s Gen 3. Now, we've already seen this chip on phones like the Oppo K13 Turbo Pro, Poco F7 and the iQOO Neo 10. So we have a fairly good idea of what it is capable of. In our testing so far, only the iQOO Neo 10 has managed to cross the 2 million mark on Antutu. But OnePlus is claiming that the Nord 6 can go beyond 2.5 million. Now that's a big claim and definitely something we'll need to verify in the full review. Either way, even going by what we already know, you can expect a clear step up in performance over the Nord 5, which was sitting at around 1.4 million on Antutu. The chipset is paired with up to 12 GB of LPDDR5X RAM and 256 GB of UFS 4.1 storage. You also get a G2 Wi-Fi chip, which OnePlus says can deliver faster, more stable speeds, especially on networks like Jio. Now, since the Nord 6 gets a 165Hz 1.5K AMOLED display, similar to the OnePlus 15, OnePlus is claiming sustained 165Hz gaming on titles like BGMI, Call of Duty Mobile, and Free Fire Max. That's something no other phone under 40,000 rupees is offering right now. The Nord 5 topped out at 144Hz, so this is a clear step up. So yeah, that's the OnePlus Nord 6. You've got a massive battery, a super high refresh rate display, and a chipset that on paper looks very promising. There are also a few big claims here, especially around performance in gaming, that we'll be testing properly. So for now, this gives you a good idea of what the Nord 6 brings to the table. We'll have a lot more to say once we have spent more time with it. Hope you found this video helpful and I'll catch you in the next one.